There's more good news tonight for the UK's vaccination programme. A fourth vaccine could be approved shortly after major trials in the UK showed it was particularly effective against the UK variant. Novavax is an American jab, but it's being produced here in the UK in a factory on Teeside. Tonight, the Prime Minister thanked all the volunteers involved in the trials and said if approved by the UK's medicine regulator, the UK has 60 million doses on order. The news came amid a deepening row between AstraZeneca and the European Union over vaccine shortages. Our medical editor, Fergus Walsh, reports.
Once again, science has triumphed in the fight against coronavirus. The US firm Novavax has released results of its British trial showing the first proven efficacy against the new, more contagious UK variant. There were more than 15,000 volunteers on the trial throughout the UK. Over half the cases of COVID recorded were the result of the new variant. The result showed the vaccine was 95% effective against the original COVID strain and over 85% effective against the new UK variant, giving an overall efficacy of 89%. The former head of the UK Vaccine Task Force said that in a separate trial in South Africa, the vaccine had showed it protected against the variant of concern there.
It's a fantastic result because it shows that the Novavax vaccine is effective against both the UK variant as well as the South African variant and has shown phenomenal efficacy, and it's made in Teeside. So not only have we trialled the vaccine to show that it's safe and effective, but we're also making it too. So we'll be able to save lives in the UK.
Okay, ready? Meanwhile, the biggest immunisation drive in the history of the NHS just keeps growing. This supermarket pharmacy near Birmingham started offering COVID jabs today to the over 75s, one of more than 1,400 vaccination sites in England alone. What a contrast in Madrid, where supplies of vaccine have all but dried up. The Spanish capital has cancelled all appointments for around 2 weeks. The EU was slow off the mark in ordering vaccine and now wants some of the UK's supply of AstraZeneca doses. In May, the UK government was the first to sign a deal with AstraZeneca for 100 million doses of its COVID vaccine. It wasn't until August, 3 months later, that the European Union signed an agreement for up to 400 million doses. Last month, the UK's MHRA became the first regulator in the world to approve the Oxford AstraZeneca jab. Tomorrow, the European Medicines Agency is meeting and is expected to approve the vaccine, but for the moment, it remains unlicensed in the EU. The AstraZeneca vaccine is grown in bioreactors. I've seen how complex the process is at this site in Oxford. By contrast, there have been poor yields at the main European site in Belgium. The EU is threatening legal action to force AstraZeneca to hand over some doses made here.
We can and will get doses of the vaccine from the series of plants which are mentioned in the contract, and therefore also including those in the United Kingdom.
And there's another twist. Germany's vaccine committee has said the AstraZeneca jab should, for now, not be given to people aged 65 and above. It cited insufficient evidence in how effective it is in older people. The government here firmly rejects that.
Our own authorities have made it very clear that they think the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is very good and efficacious. They think that it is effective across all age groups and provides a good immune response across all age groups.
There is limited evidence on how well the AstraZeneca vaccine works in the over 65s, but leading scientists here say they're confident it will give strong protection.
And Fergus joins me now. So more good news, another vaccine, potentially Novavax. How significant could that prove to be?
Huge, Sophie. Now, this is already in the hands of the medical regulator, the MHRA. It began what they call a rolling review of the data from these UK trials of the Novavax vaccine earlier this month. And they have to prove that it's safe and effective. If they approve it, then it'll be produced here, and it will put rocket boosters under the UK vaccine programme, which is already outstripping most of Europe. So it's brilliant news. And the fact that it's effective, highly effective, against the UK variant, and less so effective, but still effective against the South African one, fantastic news.
You were talking just now about the AstraZeneca jab in Germany. They're advising it not to be given to the over 65. Should people here be worried, people who've had it?
Well, there's no concerns about safety. In fact, there were fewer side effects in older people who received the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in the trials. This is about effectiveness. Now, there isn't much effectiveness data from the trials, but what the medical regulator and the scientists at Oxford and those who advised the government all said was the immune responses of the elderly were so strong and so similar to younger adults that the vaccine should be effective. We'll get more data on that soon. And there may be a bit of vaccine nationalism here from the Germans. They've bought up extra supplies of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine developed in Germany, and they will use that for those aged 65 and over.
Fergus Walsh, thank you. Well, France, Portugal and Germany are just some of the EU member states struggling to get hold of enough vaccine supplies. Vaccinations are having to be postponed before the rollout has really begun. Germany's health minister says the country is facing a shortage well into April and warned of at least 10 tough weeks ahead. Jenny Hill reports on the difficulties Germany is facing.
A waiting room without any patients. A vaccination centre without any vaccine. Germany relied on the EU to place its orders, a decision which may have come at a cost.
We really feel it here. People keep asking us why we haven't been vaccinated yet. At the end of the day, these are political decisions, which I have to accept. But I am looking forward to the time when we have enough vaccine and can get on with it.
So, wir gehen jetzt durch die Stadtmauer.
No tourists now for city guide Theresia. Immunity would bring life back to Marburg streets, restart the German economy. But just 2% of the population have had their first dose of the vaccine so far.
Ich finde es sehr gut.
Even so, she tells us, it was right for the EU to order vaccine together. If everyone in Germany gets vaccinated, but not people in the countries around it, then the plague comes back over the border. If we do it, we should do it together, even if we have to wait. Months of restrictions here appear to be paying off. Germany's infection rates are now falling. But there's real concern about the impact of new variants like those discovered in Britain or South Africa. And while the German government has pledged to offer every citizen a vaccination by the end of the summer, that's starting to look like a very hard promise to keep. So far, Germany's relied on the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The manufacturer has announced delays, though a new production site here in Marburg is expected to boost output. Supplies, too, are expected from Moderna and, if approved and on time, AstraZeneca, though Germany may only give it to the under-65s.
We want to know what took so long. We want to know which member states were rather reluctant in ordering together and which member states said, hey, let's go forward. I think it would have been a great sign from Germany as the economically strongest member state to say, hey, if it's a question of money, we'll just lay, let's say, 10 billion euro on the table to get things going.
Marburg's vaccination centre closed now, though they expect supplies to arrive next week. No one's quite sure what happens after that, and even the German government warned today the next 10 weeks will be tough. Jenny Hill, BBC News, Marburg.